Wow, what a change and a shift with divine feminine in the mix. Can't wait to see you guys for the joint connection. Interestingly enough, this point in the month, chakra cards were utilized. And I am seeing for divine feminine, you guys really going into that self nurturing. Now, with the previous moon being in House of Scorpio, this can be a lot of sacral chakra energy and it can be getting very hot in here. We can be exhibiting emotions both of secretiveness, sassiness, wanting to really look at our nutrition. And yes, we should be careful, especially with use by dates at the moment and the type of food we're eating. Things can be sitting quite heavy on us. Spiritually, I do feel you really are thinking about, what it means to be loved, how it means to be nurturing ourselves, how it means to be pampered. I do feel divine masculine here in the mix is dreaming about you guys quite a bit, but I also feel you're wanting to make some of those things from a creative point of view a physical reality. You are looking like the temptress at this point in time, and I do feel for those that are actually observing you, there is a deep attraction towards your aura. I'm also feeling a lot of you are wanting to do some things that are raising your vibration and making you feel more fun, spontaneous, and creative. And for some reason, my guides are telling me to give you a bit of a FYI, for some of you, you can be very fertile at this point in time. What do I say? Okay, a lot to do with psychic protection as a necessity, but again, I do feel you guys being a mass manifester this week, especially moving into the month of May. I feel you're really looking at the past, and there were some hard truths that you had to look at. We do look at the past position, and we do have the blue energy. Yes, Mercury retrograde was frustrating, okay? But a lot of old situations, especially at the moon and Scorpio, I do feel some dark emotions might have come up, some dark feelings, some hidden belief systems that we had about ourselves, but also to do with the twin flame path. You're looking at relationships differently now. Not necessarily through the same eyes as your tribe and your family. You want it to be more an equal standpoint, an equal playing field. Yeah, you do understand the reasons why certain things had to happen in your life, but spiritually, especially if there is something going on with your twin, I feel a lot of you are looking at things differently. The advice here is to take a playful approach. Okay, I'm seeing that counterpart is going to become quite serious, but you guys have really detached from that. You could be feeling that you don't want to go in where angels fear to tread, and that although you're taking a playful approach, some of you, the message could be is that you may not be articulating what you want quite clearly enough. I do think this is going to change. This is going to evolve. It could be a different vocabulary to use. Regardless of in communication or not, I definitely see there is a pattern here that's being changed. There's a pattern and a situation that's shifting. Some of you can be feeling, how do I lower that guard there so I can open up? Should it be me that communicates? Should it be them? How do we address this? And it's showing to be playful, to be light, to be neutral. I do feel you are learning to trust your instincts more, but you also need to learn to trust your throat chakra. I feel if you need to say anything, do such. The commitment, what they're showing is there is going to be a commitment for you. But trusting this process has been difficult, but it could be a conversation you're going to have with these individuals or with a separate individual to do with love. And you're sort of saying to yourself, there's no guarantee in anything in life, but you spiritually will know the signature of when a person is open to, dance with you, so to speak, when they're open to actually work with you. That's where the trust is built. This could be a deep conversation to do with such, especially for those of you in communication with counterpart. It could be a deep conversation about what would need to change in order for, all the small things. It's funny, we're looking at the elephant on the card, and we always say, let's address the elephant in the room. And I think it's about taking a playful approach, but also a direct approach. Sometimes the playful approach can be misunderstood as everything is okay, when if something is not, it's really addressing the elephant in the room and the size and the depth of what it physically is. Now, that doesn't mean to say it's the same circumstance for this individual, but for you, the way you see it is very different to how they see it. And it's about trying to find that middle ground so both parties can get on the same page. For some of you, you might have seen something on social media, especially for those of you not in communication. There could be a worry wart energy to do with a person's twin and their commitment to another individual. You could be feeling it's not your place to say anything. You could feel alone in the circumstance of this and frustrated. You could be really looking at your life regardless of where you stand and what is going down. This could have been a lot of shadow work to do with the past with Mercury retrograde, and to do with that anger and sadness and disappointment, and really having to nurture ourselves after the purgatory effect, moving forward, really moving into that purple heart energy. And so what I do see is, how can we get into bliss? How can we get into this notion? And I feel there could be some stuck energy. Okay. It's funny, we have chakra mindset in reverse and we have pure bliss in the upright. Okay, for some of you, I'm just going to be straight there. And when we get to this energy, I will be checking with this. The pure bliss energy, your crown chakra is going to give you some psychic downloads, divine feminine. You also, especially if you're getting channeled messages from your twin, what can physically happen is your ego can get involved. So you may say to yourself, look, what I'm seeing and what I'm sensing is a matching. And they're wanting to the best way you can actually do this is look at the crown chakra, right? The crowning chakra for you this week is self-nurturing. The only way you really can get a handle on physically seeing what is going on is by being grounded and replenished. That is the safest way to do any channeling. It's the safest way to comprehend and understand what the psychic download is, because while we're in a pain body experience, we're not going to be seeing things clear. If we are hungry and we go shopping, we're going to buy more. We're not going to be sensing what we actually will need for that whole week shop, because we will be selecting things through the vibration of where we are at this point in time. So the best way to get a handle on this, especially if you are having dream states with the purple energy, trying to manifest things in, is to get grounded first, to get hydrated, to get rested, and then to step back from that painting and physically look at the circumstances. Okay, what am I really seeing here? Because what I'm seeing through the cards at the moment, especially with the clarifiers, is some of you are seeing an image and a situation playing out with your twin, and it's not quite making sense to you. Things aren't, matching up. You could be apprehensive to say anything. You also could, depending on the circumstance in your twin flame path, whether you are in no communication, crap went down, who should be the one who communicates first? Go into your instincts there. Go beyond the ego and say to yourself, okay, is this stagnation here because of a part I'm physically playing in the circumstance? Is it something I'm not saying? Is there no action I'm taking? And then I'm saying it's stagnant. So there is some power you do have on your side of the fence. And, many times we say to ourselves, the power I have within me will change nothing. And that's actually not true. It's a little bit like a scientific, sort of experiment, really. In cooking a cake, for instance, and you decide to cook it without eggs, or you decide to cook it without baking powder, you're going to get a different outcome. So then we see the fallacy in that statement piece is that, yes, in fact, as you change and your attitude and the way you respond to it changes, you are going to have a different outcome. because we are part of that equation. That is our power spiritually, and it changes the recipe. You do need to trust your instincts, and this is to do with commitment. Some of you are a bit wary. Some of you are like, is it appropriate for me to say anything? Is it an appropriate time for me to communicate? How do I communicate? There are some blockages there. I feel you're swinging on the axis there, and I feel you're trying to mull over it. Don't mull too long. Actually think about what you're going to do and take action. Because here, spiritually, what I do see is you could be moving into alignment of creating these dreams. And it's almost like they're saying, some of you could be really baffled why this has to happen in the fashion it does. Why do you have to have purpose? Why do you feel potentially that there is an imbalance and a disharmony? There is one that is happening on your side of the fence at this point in time. And, your sacrifices can deplete you, so to speak. Spiritually, I'm seeing chakra mindset and the card in reverse. It's almost like divine feminine here in the mix is going through a descension rather than an ascension. But this also could be your perspective within the masculine energy, because you are psychic in nature and you do pick up on this. And I'm physically seeing a phoenix rising. I do see there is less you need to sacrifice than you think. The detoxing and the changing is coming through in your aura. I definitely do see a lot of divine feminines wanting to change their images, but there's also some spiritual work on the inside that directly you're working on. I do see the dream coming and I do see it moving. I do see it's about you actually allowing your guides to communicate and guide you and to trust your instincts with that, but just to be very, very careful with the attachment of ego of perspectives that, boxing things in. That's going to block and stagnate your path. I do actually see physical movement. I see this to be a dream come true. I see this to be unexpected. And no, you're not going to have to be perfect, divine feminine, to have your physical union. Not at all. You just need to be open and in the present energy, being aware of how to navigate that situation, being open to your communication. So it's about utilizing your chakras correctly. Go into the research of your chakras, what each one does, where the trigger can come up, being aware when the pain bodies are coming into your body and what is kind of, what would I say, cropping up through transits. As you become aware of your inner cycles, you will then see the mirror of that in your external. And you can then directly change the trajectory of your future. This person's getting up in your energy. Sometimes I do advise that if you have spoken your truth and you are really looking after yourself, you're pouring your energy into your passion, you're finding, you will always in the separation phase have triggers and challenges through other individuals because they become your masculine teacher during that separation stage. So you will find those teachers and those karmic cycles coming through in your parents or your family or your work colleagues or a physical soulmate or a karmic relationship. You are always cycling through. Once your activation of your awakening has started, you are cycling through. So who is your karmic energy this month? Where is it coming from? Where are those blockages coming from? That is going to dictate how you transition through. Spiritually speaking, you will need to have a huge hold on your psychic energy as we proceed forward into 2025. Because the shadow energy, if we can control our crown chakra, our aura, what we let in, being in awareness, you're going to handle 2025 a hell of a lot better. If you do want coaching, you can go to the link directly below. I do cover these. I can look at your twin flame path. I can also look at where your blockage is coming up, and I can guide you to how to work on those areas to actually get you into harmony. The other thing you can do is pull your astrology chart up. You can use astroseek.com, and what you want to look for in your chart is Pisces. And that's where both Pisces and Virgo are going to be the big significators next year, 2025. But we're having training for those portals for next year already. Now, what do I say? Spiritually, dream state, masculine coming through. It's almost like divine feminine's trying to block their heirs to their spiritual path. Universe is trying to give you messages. You need to listen. What are those transitions that you're meant to go through that you're avoiding? You also sometimes will not feel the energy of masculine. That is sometimes because they are working on the 3D. You, however, may find that there is something that you're needing to adjust and you need to spiritually reconnect to within yourself. They're also saying that for some of you, in a sense of happiness and dreams and pastimes, you could be going through an evolution of your nutrition, an evolution of purging habits, but also an evolution of what you feel is fun and passionate and creative. And they're asking you to find your purpose within that. They're also asking you not to psychoanalyze what the purpose for purging was, because it's better out than in. You will understand the reason why you move through these. They will become tools for you within your union. There are reasons we go through circumstances. Another thing you can actually say to yourself is, we all, be it you are a good person or a bad person, whatever we want to tag as good or a bad, we'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so when we're having an adverse day, an adverse time, a hard time spiritually within our twin flame, purgatory cycle, union cycle, reunion cycle, exit cycle, we are navigating that more effectively. You do not have to sacrifice to make this work. You are clearing out that energy. You don't have to be a doormat, not at all. You are moving into this in a spiritual way. Sometimes we personalize the reason why masculine isn't ascending, and I'm seeing that as a potential here in Divine Feminine's read. Feeling within their ego that this person is not getting their shit together. And again, we need to look at spiritually where we're feeling very cross with ourselves. Moving back to the heart chakra. Okay, clarify on this place. Chakra mindset. What do we need to know? All that to do with the union. Okay, things don't have to be perfect. If we're angry and we're saying they haven't got their shit together, we're saying therefore that means, spiritually speaking, that union won't happen. Not at all. Do we have to be perfect to be loved? No, we don't. Can we have a bad day? Yes, we can. Can we make mistakes? Yes, we will. Can we be forgiven? Yes, but the buck stops here. We must forgive ourselves first. This union is close. You may not need to sacrifice as much as you think. Sacrifices come through in your life. Questions are coming up. Conversations are coming up. You're going to feel it in your chakras when this energy is coming. We have reunion energy here, a revelation, maybe something that is blocked being unblocked from the spiritual path. We will check in with the joint connection. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting, especially with masculine, feminine, and karmic reads that I've done so far. I hope to see you for the joint connection. If you do want to see the next edition, we do premiere each set weekly on a Saturday, and the members have their next set that same day. So come through and join our YouTube membership. Stay tuned for all the new content coming, and I'll see you on the other side.